I'm fresh back from a trip to Mexico, and we're going to take you on a tour of the Tequila Partida Distillery right here on the Tequila Hombre. Coming up next. Hello and welcome to this episode of the Tequila Hombre, where today we're going to be talking a little bit about Tequila Partida. Now, what basically happened is a while back, they had sent me a bottle, actually sent me a message on Instagram saying, we'd like to collaborate with you on some content. We love the way you do your content and stuff. You know, what is your rate sheet? I told them, sorry, I don't accept payments for any content that I do. But the way it works is if you want to send a bottle for review, I could definitely do a review for you. I don't charge for them. And if I like the brand, and if I like the tequila and think it tastes good and think it's good quality, then we can do some content for you for free, and we will look to stock it on Ferment and Still and offer it up so people can purchase it and get access to it all around the country. And they said, okay, sounds like a deal. So they sent me a bottle of the Roble Fina Añejo, and you guys can find the review. I'll put a link to it in the description. I did a review of the Roble Fina from Tequila Partida, the Añejo, and I really liked it. And I was like, this is really nice tequila. So they were happy that I really enjoyed it and liked the bottle they sent, and they later contacted me and said, we know you like the Roble Fina Añejo. Would you possibly be interested in doing a single barrel selection? And I said, absolutely, sure. I'll check it out. We'll see what you got. So then they sent me a kit, and I did a live stream here for you guys, where we looked at a bunch of different samples of the Tequila Partida Añejo for a barrel selection. They did 10 barrels. They offered 10 barrels, only 10 barrels of that. And doing the tasting, I was like, these are really good, but these are not something different that you just can't go into any liquor store and pick up a bottle of Añejo. And I said, so I like the brand. I like what you're doing. I think the tequila is natural. I don't taste additives in it. It tastes of good quality tequila. So what I'd like to do, if you guys ever decide to offer high proof single barrel, I'd love to do a high proof single barrel where we get to pick one of the barrels and offer it up for the Tequila Barrel and Agave Collective, which is my group. And they said, okay, we'll keep you in mind for that. And then a couple weeks later, they reached out and said, we decided that was a good idea. And so we're going to start offering a single barrel, high proof cask strength or whatever strength you want, Añejo. Would you be willing to come to the distillery and pick out a barrel and see the distillery? And I said, absolutely. So I flew out to Jalisco on my dime. I paid for my own hotel. I paid for my own travel, and met up with Jose Valdez, the master tequilero, and the president, the head of Mexican operations for Tequila Partida. And this is the tour that we went on, and I'm going to take you guys along with us so you can see what Tequila Partida does. So let's not waste any more time. Let's head out to the Valle of Jalisco and check out Tequila Partida. So our tour starts out in the Agave Fields, but first we wanted to take a look at what it looks like here in the Jalisco Valley, or the Valle, as they say in Spanish. This is right outside Amatitan, just a little bit outside of the city of Tequila. We head to the Agave Fields. These agaves here are tall and looking beautiful. You can see the pencas were actually higher than my head. They were so tall. These were estimated to be around 5 or 6 years old agave. So they wanted to show me the way they prepare their agave. So they brought a humidor out to the field with us, who selected a ripe agave and was working on doing the hema on it. And they showed us how they take the pencas off to prepare the agave. With the agave plant, they use the piña, which is the root ball of the agave. So they'll take push the agave out of the ground, and then the hema then chops the pencas off and prepares it the way they want it. They don't like to use a lot of penca on the agave piña because they believe it adds a little bitterness and some waxiness to the tequila, which is kind of true, but it also can add a little flavor to it. So they leave a little bit of the penca on, but not a whole lot. They pretty much shave these agave pretty clean. And also, when they hema them, they want to make sure they take more penca off too, because penca can add more methanol into the tequila when they cook it and ferment it and distill it. So they showed us how they do this, trimming down the agave, which the hema, you may not be able to tell that koa that they're using is very sharp. And it's actually really hard to trim the pencas off of an agave and to move the agave around. It's a lot of hard work. So these guys really put a lot of effort in to making sure that the agave are cleaned up right for the distillery. These guys are kind of the unsung hero of the tequila world. Unsung heroes. They do a great job and they work really hard to make sure the agave are in perfect shape for the preparation of tequila. All right, so now you've seen how they prepare the agave for making tequila. They use really nice ripe agave. They trim the pencas off and make the agave so it's in perfect condition for them to cook and use for the preparation and making tequila. So now we're going to head on out to the distillery in the city of Tequila, and I'm going to let Jose Valdez take us on a tour of the distillery.
Hello, my name is Jose Valdez. I'm the general manager and maestro tequilero of Tequila Partida. We are here at the distillery, NOM 1502, Authentica Tequilera, where Tequila Partida is produced, and I'm going to show you the production process. So part of the quality control in Tequila Partida is to use this device to measure the sugar content of the agave. So even before we agreed to bring agave from an agave field, we take some samples. We go physically to the agave fields and select random plants, normally 3 plants, small, big, and medium. And we cut it in half and we put it right here. You see we have a saw, and we cut the plants in different directions, and we obtain the scrap of the agave, and that scrap of the agave is the way we're gonna measure, is the sample we're gonna use to measure the sugar content and to see if that reached the minimum sugar that we require for Tequila Partida, which is 24% ART.
This is cooking. This is where they cook the agave.
Yeah, this is the autoclaves. As you can see, is stainless steel autoclaves. And the capacity for this autoclave is 12.5 tons. So we put 5 baskets. You see the baskets right over there. So we fill those baskets, we use only the stainless steel basket, and we put the fresh agave inside this 5 basket, and then we load the autoclaves with this device inside the autoclave.
Now, is the agave cooked under pressure?
Yes, we use a steam that goes at the bottom from the autoclave, and our cooking process takes 24 hours. 18 hours of steam, low pressure and low temperature, temperature lower than 90 Celsius degree, and the pressure is lower than 3/4 of a kilo. And after those 18 hours of steam feeding, it's stopped, and we keep the autoclaves closed overnight, basically 8 hours more. And that after 24 hours, 7 a.m. every day, we open the autoclaves and then start the milling process. So normally the way we use this basket is to make the cooking process. We load with the fresh agave, and once the cooking is done, is the cooked agave, we unload the baskets, and take the basket all the way right here. And then we open one wall of the basket and we start the next step, which is the milling process. So as you can see, it's very easy to operate. No, it's easier than do it manually. So this basket and this system with the lift help to do it with less effort and be more efficient. After the agave is cooked, we pass every single cooked agave through this machine. And this machine we call destrozadora, which is basically a shredder, which is axis rotated in high speed. And we basically destroy the shape of the cooked agave and convert it into fiber. So we prepare the extraction. In the extraction, the first extraction is right here in this milling, where we add volcanic water. You see the blue pump. The blue tube.
It drips water on the agave fibers and then they're pressed in those rollers, right?
Correct. We press in this milling. It's a 3 masses milling, 3 cylinders masses that are rotated together and squeeze the cooked agave with water.
And you have multiple machines that...
Yeah, basically we have 6 milling machines in a line. The first 2 milling machines are the biggest one, and then we have the same size for the last 4 millings.
And why do you do so many passes?
Oh yes, just to be more efficient in the extraction of the old sugar, but not with diffuser, but with this traditional milling process.
What do you say? What do you think your extraction rate is?
What? Say it again.
How high do you think your extraction rate is?
How efficient?
Yeah.
So we have 3-4% of sugar left in the fiber.
96%.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
Okay, so after the milling process, we obtain this we call jugo de molienda, which is milling juices basically, and it's sugar from the agave that was extracted with the volcanic water. This is gonna be mixed with what we call miel dulce, which is sweet honeys, and it's basically the juice that is obtained in the cooking process. So during the cooking process, after 3 hours, that we don't use that juices, we call bitter juices or bitter honeys, we don't use them, but we use the rest of the juices, which is this one. And we separate them and keep cooking them. We call destufamiento, which is just to separate completely the sugar so they can be fermented. Once the honeys are ready, we mix with this, with the jugo de molienda, and we create the mosto or jugo formulado. Formulado because it's formulated basically with these 2 ingredients. Normally the brix here is 11% brix, which is high concentration of sugar. Okay, once the fermentation finish, we have the dead mosto, which is basically the same liquid, but without sugar. Most of the sugar is gone because the yeast convert that sugar into ethylic alcohol. How the fermentation happen? Well, we have this open fermentation stainless steel tanks. And what we do in Tequila Partida is that the very first tank that we obtain in the milling is gonna do completely natural, without anything. And it's gonna last 5 days. But after the first day, we separate 10% of this mosto, and we put air and a source of nitrogen, so we encourage the reproduction of the yeast. And that is gonna be the starter for the next day. Next day, we're gonna do in another tank, we're gonna use the starter, and that fermentation is not gonna take 5 days, it's gonna take 3 days. And the reason we want 3 days exactly is because after 2 days, we noticed that most of the tropical and citric and nice aromas like butter, scotch, and lactic flavors goes after 2 days of fermentation. But we don't want more than 3-4 days. That's why we want to do it controlled. in a natural way, and we call the propagation and inoculation with the wild yeast. So this is our fermentation area. We have stainless steel tanks with a capacity of 20,000 liters. We have 14 tanks, and although Tequila Partida use open fermentation stainless steel tanks, we don't fill them completely. We only use the mosto 3/4. So we fill 3/4 of the tanks, so we can keep a layer of CO2 and to keep seal the fermentation in a natural way. Otherwise, if we fill the mosto all the tanks, so we're gonna evaporate some of the alcohols and aromas. So we want a concentrated fermentation in a natural way, not closing with a tap or with a cap or something. We want a open fermentation. So that basically the room. As you can see the roof, there is some yeast, if you will, in the roof and also in the environment. So we have trees of mango in the property and citrus as well. So that is gonna give the flavor and the profile of Tequila Partida. So once the fermentation is done, after 3 days of fermenting and the sugar content reduced to almost zero, close to zero, and the alcohol by volume goes to 5%, that's when we call the dead mosto is ready for the distillation, which is the next step. So we have the traditional pot still, made out of stainless steel, but inside they have copper. The coil is made out of copper. All the alembics that you see here, or pot still, are for the first distillation, except that one that is for the second distillation. So we create Ordinario, which is the first product that we obtain in the destrozamiento. Remember, the mosto color is very brown color, and it's not as clean as this one. So we do the separation so we use the separation of the process of the alembic, which is elevating the temperature and separating and condensate the alcohols. So we increase the alcohol by volume by instead of 5% goes to 25%, the Ordinario. And one important thing is the heads and tails in the destrozamiento. We don't reuse them. Many distilleries reuse them, send it back to the fermentation or redistill. In our case, we only concentrated on the heart of the distillation, both the first and the second distillation. So this is the cabezas and colas, which is basically, cabezas is the first, the more volatile alcohol, full of methanol and superior alcohol, which are not very good for the human consumption. And the same with colas. So we don't use them. We separate and use only the Ordinario to make the tequila, which is the second distillation. And we distill at 55% our blanco, still strength. No, it's 55%, 110 proof. The same in the second distillation, we separate heads and tails, and we don't reuse them. So that's basically the distillation process. So let me show you the aging production process. As you may know, we have Tequila Partida Blanco, but the rest of our product is aged tequila. So come and see the aging room. So we use these barrels, which is 200 liters white American oak medium toast, used with bourbon. In this case, is Jack Daniels. And the difference that we have is that we source the barrel directly from the bourbon distillery, and they give us a certificate that the barrels has been empty. Within 10 days, they ship the barrels to us. We have to commit to buy a full container, which is 288 barrels, but we do that to ensure the source of the barrel, no? Because in the industry, there are many brokers, but we want to make sure that the barrels are reliable, the quality. And as soon as we receive them, we put a little water just to make sure that they don't they don't have leaks, sorry. And if they have leaks, we adjust the rains, empty the water, and then put tequila at 55%. We have reposado, añejo, and extra añejo. Our reposado goes 6 months up to a year. Our añejo goes 18 months up to 2 years. And our extra añejo, Partida Elegante, has 4 years of aging. So as you can see, all our categories are more than the minimum required. And the other characteristic is that we use the barrels only 3 years, except in the case of Elegante that is 4 years. But for the reposado and añejo, we normally use one reposado and one añejo. That's 3 years, and that's it. No, the barrels are in perfect condition, but for us, the important thing is the extraction of the flavor of the bourbon. So that's basically what we do to preserve the consistency and quality of the additive-free Tequila Partida aging products. So I just want to thank you everyone for being in the tour. We just finished the tour and also the aging of barrel selection. So if you have any question, any comment, please contact me. We're going to have the link on the post, so you can contact me in case you have any questions.
You just make a comment in the comments below.
Please make a comment on the
and he'll respond to your questions.
Yes.
Awesome. Salud.
Salud. Cheers. Now it's time to tasting.
Well, thank you for the tour, Jose. We appreciate it. Now, one of the interesting things that I found out on this tour, you saw those metal baskets they used to load the agave in, to load them into the autoclave. They do that because they were finding out that their employees were having problems with their bones in their fingers from handling the warm agave all the time. And they wanted to do something to help prevent and to secure the safety of their employees. So they created this basket system so their employees really never have to handle the warm/hot agave. Instead, they use those baskets with a forklift to roll them in and out of the autoclave, and they just dump it on the side like he's explained in the videos and roll it onto the conveyor belt that then goes up to the shredder, which goes into the roller mill. And so the employees don't have to touch the warm agave. Now, I was really impressed, and I said, hey, I'd love to review the rest of the line. So they will be sending me the Blanco, Repo, and Añejo, so I can do reviews of those for you guys, as well as the Roble Fino Reposado. So I'll be reviewing that as well. I did try some of the other stuff, and we did do a barrel selection while we were there. When we were in the maturation room, the barrel room, I did go through some barrels, and the first couple barrels, they were okay, but then we found a really good barrel that's going to be cask strength, and it was exceptional. It was so good. And every once in a while you find like a barrel where you're like, yes. And we found that there, and even Jose admitted to me that he said he thinks this is one of the best barrels they've pulled yet for the high proof Partida Añejo. So make sure you look forward to the review that I'll be doing that. I brought some samples home so I can do a review for you guys. And if you want to get in on the purchase on this, make sure you subscribe and join the Tequila Barrel and Agave Collective. The link is in the description. It's $10 a month. You support what I do, and that way I can go on trips and provide you with content information like this, as well as get access to some of these amazing buys that I'm procuring from some of the top producers in the tequila industry, where these are exclusive, top-notch barrel picks or top-notch batches for just the people that support what I do. So make sure you keep an eye out for that as well. Well, that's it for this video. If you like the information I shared in this video, make sure you click the thumbs up and give me a like. If you're new to the channel, well, you picked a heck of a video to come and experience the Tequila Hombre videos. Lots of information here. And if you like honest, unbiased information, because like I said before on my post on Instagram, I'm never paid by a brand to do this stuff. Tequila Partida did not pay me to do this, and I posted a video from Jose Valdez saying so on Instagram and here on the YouTube and the Reels. Not paid at all. I funded this out of my own pocket. so I can give you honest, unbiased reviews. And if that's what you're looking for, you've come to the right place. Make sure you click the subscribe button right there and the notification bell next to it so you get notified every time I post a new informational video or distillery tour or honest, unbiased review. And that way you'll keep up to date on what's going on in the world of tequila. It also will help you in giving you power and knowledge to know when you're looking for a tequila to buy, what to look for, what to buy, so you don't end up making a mistake and regretting it later. And like I always say, life is too short to drink bad tequila. So hey, if you wanted to pick up the Tequila Partida Roble Fina Añejo, I highly recommend it. Or anything from Tequila Partida, but you'll see the reviews on the rest of the line coming up soon. Salute. Bye, guys.